प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणी। Namaste everyone. October 13 in USA, October 14 morning in India, and this is our class number 15. In this 15th class on Bhagavad Geetā over YouTube, we are going to take a look at the 16th verse, which is very profound and technically very deep, technically quite involved. The 16th verse, when we look at it on the surface, seems to be saying what is anyhow well known. It seems to be saying that which is not, you see, is not, and that which is, you see, is. Whichever is present, and whatever is absent is always absent. So first, any reader would get a bit puzzled. What is Bhagavan trying to say here? But when we scratch the surface and take a look at the deeper implications, it is one of the verses that provides a substantial basis for that Brahma Ekatva in the Advaita Vedanta. Brahma, which is, always is, and rest of it, which is not, is never present. In the past, in the present, and in the future, the pluralistic universe actually has no reality at all. Therefore, this Sat Asat Viveka, the discrimination with regard to Sat, what is true, and Asat, what is false, this discrimination, this Viveka, is pivotal in good understanding of Advaita Vedanta. Awareness, Chit Tattva, alone is. I am that awareness is the powerful anchor for a student of Vedanta to hold on to and dismiss thereby all anatma tadatmya, all his identification with what is not self. Atmanishto bhavatvam is a piece of advice that Sri Ramana Maharshi's Ekashloki gives. As you know, Ekashloki is a category, a genre of compositions where in a single shloka a whole lot of central wisdom of a system is packed. So in the famous shloka, Hridaya Kuhara Madhye Kevalam Brahma Matram Aham Ahamiti Sakshad Atma Rupena Bhati Hradi Visha Manasasvam Chinvata Majjatava Pavana Chalana Rodhat Atmanishto Bhavatvam. The punchline is be stationed, be anchored, be firmly abiding in the Atma. Stay as the Atma. remain as the pure self. But you and I would ask, how? How am I to remain as the pure self? Friends, that is where a proper study of the Vedanta helps. Otherwise, exercising willpower, all right, I am going to stay as the pure self, will take us nowhere because there is no understanding. Scriptural study, study of Gita, study of Upanishads, and with the able commentaries of Bhashyakara Sri Shankaracharya, gives to us that necessary viveka. Whatever changes, whatever is moving, whatever is not the same as it was yesterday, whatever has its name and form varying, is to be dismissed as unreal. Whatever remains the same, na vyabhicharati was the line in the Bhashya. That alone is Sat. And Atmanishta is same as Sat Nishta. Stay in Sat and just do not cooperate with Asat. Then, like a weed that has not been watered, this Asat will die a natural death. In the section of the Bhashya on this very, very seminal verse, Nasato vidyate bhavo, nabhavo vidyate satah, ubhayorapi drashtontastu, anayoho tattvadarshibhi, verse 16 of chapter 2, Bhagavan Bhashyakara went into certain subtleties. As I said in the last class too, in the famous portion in the Taittiriya Upanishad, Brahmanandavalli, commenting upon that statement, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, Sri Shankaracharya goes into more details of what is Satyam. Here the word is Sat. Over there the word is Satyam. And pretty much in the same way, in the same lines, Bhashyakara defines that anything whose nature changes is not true. And everything in this phenomenal universe, outside and inside, changes. Our own body, our own mind, our senses, our concept or picture of who we are changes. So why invest in those which are false? Stay and invest fully in the truth. In the last class, we even took a Puranic parallel. For Prahlada, Vishnu alone was truth. And for Hiranyakashipu, Vishnu did not exist. So, Vishnu is Sat and rest of it is Asat. Hiranyakashipu embraced Asat and was trying in vain to dismiss Sat, whereas Prahlada, the young boy, embraced Sat, that is Vishnu, and dismissed Asat. This is the Advaita interpretation. We see two more paragraphs that remained last time. Ekadi karanatvam gatadi visheshya abhave na yuktamiti chet. In grammar, as you know, when you say a black pot, the pot is what is qualified and black is the adjective that qualifies. Visheshya is what is described. Visheshana is what describes. A blue lotus. Lotus is Visheshya and blue is the Visheshana. A tall man. Man is the one that is described. Tall is a adjective descriptor. An intelligent lady. Lady is Visheshya. Intelligent is the Visheshana. Now, the Purva Pakshi, the imagined opponent. You may call him Pratipakshi also. In politics, in democracies, you have a ruling party and then you have an opposition party. The opposition party is in Indian languages called Virodha Paksha or sometimes Pratipaksha, the opposite side. So Pratipaksha in the Bhashyas is referred to as Purva Pakshi, and the one who champions the true position of the philosophy of the school of thought is Siddhanti. So Bhagavan Bhashyakara creates an opponent who represents so many doubts that people have, and that imagined opponent is Purva Pakshi, and the champion is Siddhanti. So Purva Pakshi says, well, if there is no pot at all, we are talking of a black or red pot. Let's say there is a situation where there is no pot at all, Visheshya Abhave, then all talk of this reality is just brought to an end, nullified. Bhashyakara says, no, there may not be a pot, but there is water, there is a bird, there is a man. Something or the other is. And in something or the other that is, we need to set our eyes on the isness, not on the nama rupa. इदम् उदकम् इति मरीचि आदौ अन्यतर अभावे अपि सामान्य अधिकरण्य दर्शनात्. Samana adhikarana, then when you make another compound, samana adhikaranya. So there is a common basis for the illusory water that appears in the mirage over the desert. Or why go to a desert on a hot summer day when we are driving on a highway? It looks like some parts of the highway have water, they are reflecting. We know that it is also an optic illusion. Therefore, where there seems to be water, the water is unreal, because as you get closer, you find not a drop of water. But the substrate, the adhisthana, the sand in the example, is real. Therefore, somewhere or the other, you will always find the, the, the basis. The basis always is. In fact, elsewhere it is said, here also earlier a sentence was made, even if you were to visualize a scenario where there is absolutely nothing seen, nothing heard, nothing touched, nothing perceived, it is no proof of absence of Sat. That is like in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, you have a line, Nahi drashtuhu drishtehe viparilopat. The idea is, you are looking at the sky and birds are flying. Now, the fact that you are able to see the birds is an indication that you have working eyes. But imagine, after a while, there is not a single bird in the sky. Would we say, in between, you went blind? If there are no birds anymore in the sky, that doesn't make your eyes blind. The eyes are able to see the birds if there are birds. If there are no birds, your eyes are anyhow intact, normal, healthy. So, with that example, Advaita Vedanta says, even if all thoughts, all names and forms, all perceptions, all experiences subside, there is the awareness principle. Sat never ceases to be. Na abhavo vidyate sataha, the second quarter of the shloka. Sat never ceases to exist and Asat never actually is. It's a mere appearance. Lastly, before I proceed from the Sat and Asat to the next part, uh, we must say that Advaita Vedanta in no way looks down or condemns this universe. It places things in their proper places. A physicist would say the rainbow is an appearance. Water drops are the reality there. The physicist has nothing against the rainbow. If he is also a poet, along with being a physicist, he continues to write beautiful poems on the rainbow, asks his family members to join him in beholding a beautiful rainbow. Sometimes two rainbows appear at the same time. He'll call his wife, "Oh dear, come, children, come here, take a look." He will call them to the balcony to take a look at the double rainbow. But in physics class, he puts things in their proper places. Single rainbow or double rainbow, the rainbow is an optic illusion. The truth is the water drops over there and sunlight passing through those water drops, and there is a mathematics about it, why it is always circular and all that. Water drops are the truth and rainbow is an illusion. Advaita Vedanta goes further. Water drops also are an appearance. Nirvishesha Sat, indescribable, unqualified, unqualifiable. You can't describe it at all. Sat alone is true. तस्मात् देहादेहे द्वन्द्वस्य च सकारणस्य असतः न विद्यते भावः. With all our Vedanta knowledge, you and I, the speaker not excluded, remain in certain attachment to the body. Bodily comforts, the tiredness, the laziness, or some other difficulty, they become an issue with us. On one hand, we enjoy the heights of Vedanta philosophy. On the other, at times, we find it is so difficult to get up and get going. We feel tamas or rajas coming in. Vedanta on the Jnana Marga, on the high plateau of Jnana Marga, the path of wisdom, says to us, hit at this problem, strike at this problem at its roots. And what is striking at the roots? As it is said here, this deha, this body, and all these pairs of opposites it experiences, the causes for all that, all of them are to be understood as asat. On a lower level, we invoke willpower. We say to ourselves, okay, I am feeling tired or lazy, but I must overcome this. There is some work to be done, let me do it. This is invoking our own Sankalpa Shakti. But on a higher level, we look at the laziness or the tiredness or the unwillingness or some negative emotion. We look at all of them as false. They are not to be trusted. They are not to be taken as very valid. This is a passing show, like seeing a horror movie, like seeing a scene that is full of suspense. In a movie, we have all that, but we have to tell ourselves this is just a movie. So asataha na vidyate bhavaha. Tatha, in the same way, sataha, what is sat here? Bhashyakara instantly adds the word. Sataha cha means atmanaha. The Satchit Ananda Rupa Atma is Sat. Tasya abhavaha avidyamanata na vidyate. At no point of time or at no point of space, this Atma ceases to exist. It ever is. Therefore, if I may make a quick diversion, one of the noblest values in daily life, is non judgmentalism. On the basis of caste or creed, on the basis of color of skin or height or weight, on the basis of gender or the language somebody is speaking, on the basis of the region from which she comes, etc. You know, wise, mature people, they don't judge a person just because she is from such region or she speaks that language, etc. Those are all put aside, right? As relevant to a piece of work, they only see whether the candidate has the skills, the ability, the suitability to that piece of work. A thousand superficialities are put aside. Or even in home, family life, just because a family member was in bad mood yesterday, we don't hold on to it. Today we see him with fresh eyes. So, being able to look at people, look at groups of people, look at scenarios with no clinging to you know, some aspect which is no more valid, which is gone, which is of the bygone past. Looking at a scenario with fresh eyes is regarded of one of the very high values of human life, human excellence. Now see how Advaita Vedanta promotes it when our eyes are on that pure self which everybody is, black or white, Indian or African, lady or man, somebody who failed 3 times even in high school examination, and somebody else who is a gold medalist in some prestigious institution. What have we got to do with all of them? All of them are the one self. And then, of course, as it regards a particular scenario, we see the skills. Somebody who failed 3 times even in high school examination may know how to read Punjabi. There's a Punjabi letter. We ask him, can you read this? Now, he happens to be from Amritsar. He reads it. And the other guy who got gold medal in competitive examination happens to be from Africa. He doesn't know Punjabi. So that's what I mean by certain skills as relevant to a piece of work on hand. Otherwise, unless it is relevant, don't bring in all those other stories. So, Atmanaha abhavaha na vidyate. The Atma alone is. Therefore, enlightened people are stationed, are firmly established in the pure self. Therefore, they look at their visitors with equal eyes, but do what is appropriate. Someone like Ramana Maharshi would look at the President of India visiting him, or somebody who has just come out of jail visiting him, basically with equal eyes. But for the President of India, he would of course say to people of the ashram, ah, you see, Babu Rajendra Prasad is visiting us today. Please ensure that a little bit of hospitality, little bit of according a appropriate welcome is done. That is called auchitya. What is auchitya? There are maryadas. That is certain norms. Norms are followed. But in his heart of hearts, he is not awestruck by the President of India, nor does he have some kind of contempt or condemnation towards this jailbird. Who knows? The person who has come out of the jail, he is a transformed man now. So there is such great openness that naturally comes out of Atmanishta. This is where we connect once in a while the close relation between spiritual realization, that is self knowledge, and human excellence, that is moral values, and so on. Sarvatra avyabhicharaditi avochama. Avochama, we already said that the Sat Sarvatra avyabhichara. Sat at all places remains uninvalidated. Vyabhichara is invalidation. Invalidation. That means doesn't get invalidated. It always remains valid. Evam atma anatmanoho sat asatoho ubayoho api drishtaha upalabdaha antaha. Antaha means here nirnaya. The word antaha somewhere can mean inside, somewhere can mean the end, and here it is in a way closer to the meaning end. What is end? The nirnaya, the conclusion. What is our final position in this matter? The matter has this final position that wise people, truly illumined people, know that Sat is Sat, Asat is Asat. Asat will never be actually having any power over us. Sat Sadeva, Bhashyakara says, Asat Asadeva. Sat Sadeva, Sat is Sat only, and Asat is Asat only. Anayoho Yatoktayoho Tattvadarshibhi. Who sees this or who are all the time aware of this? The wise people who behold the truth. Tattva is truth, Darshi is Pashyati iti Darshi. Drish is the root, therefore Darshi. In present tense, the verbal form becomes Pashyati. Otherwise, the root is Drish. Drishti is to see. Tattvadarshi. So, Tattvadarshis are always able to see what is Sat and what is Asat. They don't get carried away by Asat. We not only get carried away by Asat, there are times when we just want more and more Asat. What do you mean, you may ask? When do we want more and more Asat? When we are in Rajoguna, Tamoguna, when we are tired, when we are bored, don't we want yet another cinema show, yet another fancy stuff, knowing well that this fancy stuff is false? I'm not against, I myself watch a movie or two once in a while, I enjoy them, but my point is, we'll have to again and again examine, is it in place or is it out of place? Entertainment. Is the entertainment in place in very moderate measure just to give us a bit of relaxation and just to give us the ability to enjoy the grandeur of creation. This creation has navarasas, you know, nine humors, nine sentiments, as you know, the various moods. So arts, dance, music, poetry, literature, etc. bring out all the nine rasas. A really masterly piece of art goes into all the rasas. There is humor, it has compassion, it has description of beauty, and so on. You know, ask any dancer, ask any musician, ask a good writer, she would tell you what are the rasas. So the one thing it is to appreciate grandeur, art appreciation is part of a fully blossomed personality. Just because you are a Vedantin, it's not that you always turn your face away from art and music. But the question is, as Swami Chinmayananji always used to say, check out whether you are enslaved by this so called entertainment. Whether you put aside your prayer, put aside your meditation, whether you cancel some sadhana on a day because you want to enjoy some movie and so on. So, what is first, what comes second? That viveka has to be in us. All right. The word tattvadarshi is an amazing word, especially the word tattva in it. Adi Shankara writes a few lines just to explain what is tattva. Many of us take the word tattva for granted. Tattva is truth. Tattva is principle. Tattva is some hidden law, and we go further. Bhagavan Bhashyakara says, hold on, what you said is true, but do you have any idea why or how the word tattva has come? He says, tat iti sarvanama. When you say Sita or Geeta, it refers to two different people. Sita is this lady, Geeta is that lady. When you say Devadatta and Yajnadatta, Somadatta, these are standard names. These are different people. But you see, whether it is Sita or Geeta, Somadatta or Yajnadatta, or for that matter, an animal or a bird, all of them are referred to by a single pronoun, tat. Some of you may say, but tat is neuter for an object. For a male, for a masculine entity, we would say saha. Some of you who have learned a little Sanskrit, welcome. And if it is lady, the pronoun would be sa. So lady is sa, like English we have she. A man is saha, he. And a table or a chair is tat, it. It is a chair. So it. We say, good, you have some knowledge of Sanskrit, but if you know it a little better, you know that saha or sa or tat are all forms of a basic word tat. Tat is the sarvanama. In masculine pullinga, it becomes saha taute, tam tautan, tena tabhyam taihi, etc. In feminine, the same tat, we call it the substantive. Before you decline, before you put it into vibhakti, tat itself becomes sa te taha, tam te taha, taya tabhyam tabihi, tasye tabhyam tabhyaha. That is called the seven vibhaktis in singular, dual, and plural. And in neuter, yes, tat remains tat. Tattetani, tattetani, tena tabhyam taihi, and so on. Therefore, those who know grammar a little better, this is basics. Even in basics, if someone is very clear, one knows. Tat is the single sarvanama. Sarvanama is the word in Sanskrit for pronoun. And what is a pronoun? A pronoun applies to all nouns. Sita, Geeta, etc. are proper nouns. Table, chair, tree, man, child, boy, girl are common nouns. Then there are collective nouns. Then there are abstract nouns. Nouns are also of several kinds, as you know, I guess four maybe. So, for all the nouns, you may use the pronoun. When you say tat, it can stand for masculine nouns and feminine nouns, far off nouns as well as near nouns, male or a male already I said, collective or single, all kinds of sarvesham nama sarvanama. Sarvanama is a very appropriate word for pronoun in Sanskrit. Tat iti sarvanama. Now Shankara digs. He says, really, when you say it is the one word that can stand for any, what is in philosophy that which can stand for everything? It is said, Sarvam cha Brahma. Everything is Brahma. Sarvam khalu idam Brahma is a Upanishadic statement. Everything is Brahma. And therefore, a pronoun stands for Brahma. Tasya nama tat iti tad bhavaha tattvam brahmanaha yatatmyam. So, tattva, the word that came in the Gita was tattvadarshibhi. Tattva is tat and tva. Tat is the sarvanama pronoun, tva is ness. Suppose something is long. Now you say it being long or its length, its longness, so to say, is dirghatva. The shortness of somebody's speech would be called hrasvatva. Hrasva is short. So tva is added to make the sense of ness, abstract noun. Therefore, tasya bhavaha tattvam. Thatness, brahmanaha yatatmyam. Therefore, everything being Brahma, Tattva is Brahmatva. Brahmanaha yatatmyam. Therefore, what is Tattvadarshi? Some word, finally, it boils down to this. A Tattvadarshi is able to see everything as Brahman. He sees a man approaching him, he knows that is Brahma. He sees a lady, it's Brahma. I too am Brahma. The distant star is Brahma. The little flower that has blossomed this morning very near me is Brahma. In this way, drashtum sheelam yesham tattvadarshinaha. In other words, whoever has Brahma drishti, drishtim jnanamayim krutva pashyed brahmamayam jagat. There is a saying, when you have the eyes of wisdom, you see the entire universe as made of Brahma and nothing else. Sarvam Brahmamayam Re Re Sarvam Brahmamayam goes a composition by Sadashiva Brahmendra. And Lord Krishna is asking Arjuna to do this. Tvamapi, O Arjuna, you too. Tasvadarshinam drashtim ashritya शोकं मोहं च हित्वा शीत उष्णादीनि नियत अनियत रूपाणि द्वन्द्वानि. You too adopt that drishti, that vision of Tattvadarshis, of these illumined people. Don't say, oh, I revere all these enlightened people, I bow down before them. That is good. Don't stop there. Attempt seeing the way they see. Attempt their vision. Jnanamayi drishti, if you have, then this jagat will become Brahmamayam. Tvamapi tattvadarshinam drishtim ashritya. Then what will be the benefit? You will rise above shoka and moha. Shokam mohancha hitva. Ha jahati means to give up, to let go, I must say. Letting go of this embrace of the false. When we are in the embrace of the false, asat, we experience sorrow, we experience delusion, we experience attachment, which is difficult to let go. We find ourselves bound. What a bandhana life is. We take our hand to the head and lament over our state of affairs in our life. Shokam moham cha hitva tyaktva shita ushnadini. And as said before, this cold and heat, etc., niyata aniyata rupani. That is, shita is aniyata, it was said, because cold can sometimes be welcome. On a hot day, if there is a cool breeze, we welcome. On a winter night, if the breeze also is very cold, we don't welcome it. That is aniyata swabhava. Whereas sukha dukkha are niyata. Sukha is always welcome. Dukkha is never welcome. So niyata aniyata rupani dvandvani vikaraha ayam asan eva marichi jalavat mithya avabhasate iti manasi nischitya. The training of the Vedanta is not about just words and words. A lot of people have the misunderstanding that the Vedanta study mainly, well, makes you talk, talk, and talk. You listen to all those lectures, and the only result is then you also talk. No, 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 no. If somebody is like that, that means that person has not exercised the Viveka. There can be people who only talk Vedanta, not an iota of it shows in their way of living. There can be, because that is because some vasanas are so strong that man is not changing. But that don't last for long. If one is exercising the Vedantic thinking, one does wake up. When life gives him some hard blows, the man who had studied Vedanta will be able to put things in place and then realizes, yeah, this the Shastra had said, and in spite of it, I remained attached, or I did not let go of my hatred for somebody. And this is what is happening now. Now I must let go of my ragadvesha by looking at them as false. So one then takes one's understanding of the Vedanta to the higher level rather than just having words to give a lecture or to advise somebody or to write an article or to get into an argument. To have some words and phrases and some ideas is a beginning, but to own that vision and question every day, day by day, or moment by moment, to question the positions we take. We get jealous of somebody. A true Vedantin questions that jealousy. Hey, how come there is jealousy here? And his mind says, yeah, you have to be jealous. Look at that man, how ahead he has gone, and you are way behind. Then you ask yourself, in the light of your Vedanta, you say, oh, so my mind is saying that man has gone ahead and you have remained behind. What is this, that man and you? Are we different? This division that somebody has become famous, I have not become famous. Somebody has become rich, I have not become rich. Somebody has become a grandfather, and I never had even children at all, alas, and so on. Hold on. These are worldly opinions. You have studied Vedanta. Vedanta questions this division of somebody and me. This division itself is questioned by Vedanta. Vedanta asks you to reject these divisions of others and us. So if somebody goes up the platform and receives a trophy, if you are a true Vedantin, you appreciate the grandeur of the function, but there will be not a single thought, I did not get that trophy. Always others get the trophy. I am always in the audience and I have to applaud, I have to clap. That is a worldly thinking. Vedanta takes away that worldly thinking. I don't need a trophy, and this idea of I must be the one on the platform to receive the trophy is of questionable worth. That is, who am I? When you ask who am I, a thousand ideas of me being either successful or a failure, all of them are thrown into the winds. So, Sri Krishna's practical advice, this point came up because nobody should think of Vedanta as mere bookish study. That is where it may begin. But pretty soon you realize that these Vedantic insights have the power to shake our judgmentalism, to shake at their roots, Our ideas of I am a failure, I am no good, my life has gone a waste. These are all ideas, these are all thoughts, these are all not the truth. And Vedanta can shake those judgments about our life being a waste or whatever and give to us the peace. I am the Atma, very much as somebody else who may be famous in the town. The famous man is also the Atma, and the person whom nobody recognizes is also the Atma in the true way, not in some kind of what they call whitewash. Vedanta is not for whitewashing, where beneath the whitewash it is dirty, etc. No, Vedanta is to go to the root of the issue and remove from our bosom the least trace of self judgment, which is hurting. In life, what hurts us the most is self judgment. If I don't have money, that doesn't really hurt. But because I don't have money, if there is a thought rising in me that I am worthless, I am a failure, I am no good, that self judgment hurts. Vedanta can uproot that self judgment and face maybe having no money, maybe not being popular, maybe not being in a position of power, whatever it is. Vedanta empowers us to take all those situations in our stride, just being watchful, and rest of it happens. That is, if a problem needs to be solved, it will be solved in the best possible way. That is a different story. But first, we must maintain inner equanimity, inner calmness, inner serenity, not the serenity of being dumb or deaf, blind or insensitive. When you don't notice at all what is happening, then also you are very calm. Vedanta is to empower us to notice that somebody did not greet us, somebody even talked ill of us, you notice it all. But in the light of the Vedantic understanding, deep within you remain unshaken. Being aware of negative views about you, you remain unshaken. That is Atmanishta. Tvamapi shokam moham hitva, it was said, manasi nischitya, nischayam kritva. In your mind, understand clearly, come to a very firm determination, titikshasva. Please bear it. The word titikshasva had come in the 14th shloka. Tan titikshasva bharata. Bhashyakara connects it here also. Manasi vinischitya titikshasva iti abhiprayaha. See, a simple looking verse has been presented by Bhashyakara with so much of philosophical significance and so much of guidance thereby on the so called Vedanta sadhana. In this commentary on verse 16, if I may say at the end, there is ample scope for Shravana, for Manana, for Nididhyasana. To grapple with the insights supplied here can be an excellent spiritual practice by itself, and a student who is geared for all this exercise can dwell on the commentary on this shloka and stay blissfully self aware, blissfully quiet, not slipping into tamas or rajas, and not getting carried away by events around the world. So on and so forth. Now, Bhashyakara holds our hand and takes us to the next shloka. Kim punastat yat sadeva sarvada iti uchyate. To come to more concrete terms, if you say Sat never perishes and Asat never is, let's focus on the Sat. What actually is Sat? can you tell us a little more on what actually is real? That's how Bhashyakara introduces. This is called Sangati. Sangati means connection. Sam gacchati. Sangachadvam, samvadadvam, samvo manansi janata. We have a mantra in the Vedas. Go together, walk together, speak in one voice, and achieve great heights working together. That's a shloka or mantra. So, Sangati is the going together. The earlier shloka and the present shloka should go together, not in divergent ways. That said something, and now this shloka is saying something totally unconnected, suppose. That would not be desirable. So 17 has to say something which is connected. That connection is Sangati. Avinashitu tadvidhi yena sarvamidam tatam vinasham avyayasya asya na kaschit kartumarhati. Avinashi. That Sat, you wish to know what it is? Well, it is ever indestructible. Vinashi means that which undergoes destruction. Avinashi, that which never dies. Avinashi tu tat vidhi. Know that Sat to be indestructible, and what is more, yena sarvamidam tatam. That truth is not to be limited to some symbol, some image, some idol, some place. It is all pervasive. Tatam is the past passive participle of a verbal root tan. Tan means tanoti is the verbal form to spread. Elsewhere we have the indeclinable avyaya tataha, thereafter or therefore. That is a different word. But tata as an adjective is the past passive participle of tan. Some of you may have a little discomfort with grammar, but grammar is not really all that difficult. Gam means to go, gacchati, somebody goes. And gataha is someone went. Gam becomes gata. Same way, bhuj becomes bhukta. Many of you know that beautiful composition by Vallabhacharya. अधरं मधुरं वदनं मधुरं नयनं मधुरं हसितं मधुरं. That stotra, if you take a second look, has so many past passive participles. Hasitam, his smile. Has is to smile. You know. Bhuktam madhuram yuktam madhuram Pitam madhuram, and somewhere else suptam madhuram. Sup, swapiti, sleeping. So if Sri Krishna is found sleeping, oh how sweet. He is seen to be drinking some milk or eating some curd, yogurt. How sweet. Everything, Brahmitam, if he just turns around, it is, if he just bends, Valitam madhuram. Suptam, bhuktam, yuktam, Valitam, Brahmitam. We take a look at Madhurashtakam. There are number of past passive participles. In that way, Tata is a past passive participle of Tan, to spread, to pervade. Vinasham avyayasyasya nakaschit kartumarhati. Nobody can destroy this. Bhashyakara says avinashi means na vinashtum shilam asyaiti. Tu shabdah asatah visheshanartah. Why is Avinashi tu? Many a time this tu is to show a distinction. Like here. This Brahma, this Tattva is indestructible in contrast to all names and forms, all appearances, all relative truths, all relative positions, which are all destructible. They all come and go. They all change. Today they are in some form, tomorrow they take another form. So the two is asataha visheshana, to distinguish it from asat. Tad viddi vijanihi, please understand, kim, yena sarvamidam jagat tatam. As I explained, tatam means pervaded. Bhashyakara provides a synonym, vyaptam, because vyapnoti also means to pervade, to spread, to be everywhere. You burn some incense, in a couple of minutes, the fragrance pervades the whole house. That is called vyapi, vyaptam. Sadakyena brahmana sa akasham. Akasha spreads or is everywhere in all parts. Brahma is in Akasha. Brahma pervades Akasha also. It is more pervasive than Akasha. It's difficult for us to visualize anything that is more pervasive, more vyapta than Akasha. But one logical way of appreciating it is even when Akasha is not, Brahma is. You may ask, when is a scenario when there is no Akasha? In deep sleep, there is no Akasha. When the mind is quiet, there is no Akasha in your perception. And Vedanta gives more importance to your perception than something said by somebody written in some book. You are the ultimate authority. The world rises in you and subsides in you. That is the Vedanta's language. Let's complete this paragraph. Vinasham, adarshanam, abhavam. That's the word from the shloka. Avyayasya, of this truth which is unchangeable or changeless, never happens. Na yati. Not only destruction, upachaya, apachaya. Two words are in the Bhashya. Upachaya is collecting, gathering, and getting, bigger. Apachaya is losing. So if somebody puts on pounds, that is upachaya. Somebody loses pounds, that is apachaya, as applicable to somebody's body. It doesn't have to be anybody's body. Tasya avyayasya, of that truth which is changeless, nobody can cause destruction. In fact, we shall see next class, the next paragraph in this commentary says, nobody can destroy this truth, even God cannot destroy. And the eyebrows of some of us may go up. Is there anything that God also cannot do? Yes, God cannot also destroy Brahma. And with a little touch of humor, a touch of wit, Adi Shankara says, because this Brahma is the self of God also. Ishwarasya api atmatvat. So if we say Ishvara can do anything, he can destroy Brahma also. That means he will destroy his own existence. No, that is contradiction in terms. So we have powerful lines coming our way. Let's pause here. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay. So let me go from top to bottom. Pranam. Hari Om. Namaskara. Good evening. Blessed. Hari Om in Devanagari. Some are writing in Devanagari, Hindi, or that script you see. That's also welcome. Okay. My pronouns. Okay. Shiva Shankara Raja. Please explain about the word sun as you explained the word tat. Tan, no, there's no word tan, but tan is the root, tan is there. San, which has become tatam in today's shloka 17. Sun depends on where it came. Tan is a verbal root, whereas sun is the masculine form of sat. You see, if it is udakam, that is neuter, then you say udakam sat, water that is. But if it's a man, we say purushaha sun, because masculine, pullinga. If it's a lady, so if it is, mama putri, my daughter, my daughter being very intelligent. Mama putri buddhimati sati. I won't say sat, I won't say sun, but I would say sati. So the word sat becomes sun in masculine, sat in neuter, and sati in feminine. Whereas tatam is the past passive participle of verbal root dhatu, tan. Tan is to pervade and tatam means pervaded. Like in English, you have three expressions: go, went, gone. That third part is called past passive participle. Eat, ate, eaten. So the boy ate a banana. The banana was eaten by the boy. Though that eaten is past passive participle. So tatam is, this universe is pervaded by Brahman. Sun is a different thing. It's a present participle of asti, as dhatu. As asti, something is. Then you have what is called present participle, not past passive, present participle. The simple example for present participle in English is I watch television while drinking tea. Chayam piban duradarshanam pashyami. Pashyami is the main verb. Duradarshanam pashyami. Chayam piban. Piban would be the present participle. So sun is a present participle. Tatam is a past passive participle. Okay. I thought something new came up. Yes, here. Rupa, Shivram. When I have a part of the attention with myself and not let all of it on the object or person I am interacting with, I can practice non-judgment. How do we increase this nature of interaction? Well said. You have said well in your own way. That is, I am attending to somebody, but part of the attention is with myself. Vedanta extends that only to part of the attention is with my true nature. Myself go deeper and deeper to my. For example, suppose I am a Bengali person. I am not my personally, but I am giving an example. And I am interviewing somebody. If I am clinging to my identity as I am Bengali, then I may slightly favor Bengali candidates and not so much prefer non-Bengali candidates in the interview. Whereas if I keep attention to myself and purely in the Vedanta, it is the pure Atma, but as the context of the interview goes, I am the manager of this unit. And as the manager of this unit, which has such and such operations, such and such functions, I need to select a candidate who can do well in that context. So I stay with my identity as the manager, not as Bengali, not as a man, not as a, alumnus, old student of some particular institution, etc. So they are not relevant to this particular job now. So this increasing this nature of interaction again and again is to take what is truly relevant and stay with it and distance ourselves from what is not relevant. You know, by old habit, irrelevant factors do come up. We have to put them in place. I wouldn't say you have to completely dismiss it. Suppose you go to Europe, you are a Bengali person, just to stay with the example, and in some unexpected place, not even London, some distant corner of, Scotland, suddenly you hear some people talking Bengali. And if you get excited and you talk to them, are you Bengali? Are you from Kolkata? Nothing wrong with it. Vedanta doesn't say you should not be happy if you find people of your language, etc. But don't mix it with, discharge of duty, like in the interview example, and so on. So to enjoy the language, enjoy the food that you are used to, um, so many things, that is fine. So there is a dharma, adharma, viveka. So within the domain of dharma, you and I can enjoy a number of things which are, specific to us. If I have learned, let us say, Hindustani classical music, and I move to a new town, and there I find some people who are already active in Hindustani music, and I make friends with them. Nothing wrong. There is no adharma there. Birds of same feather flock together. So, to answer your question, how do we increase this nature? Whenever some thoughts arise, we need to subject those thoughts to the inquiry. Is this relevant? Is it going against dharma, against virtue, against right behavior? And once it passes those tests, we may go ahead. Well said. It's a little attention should be our own identity, because only if I am identified with my being a Bengali or a South Indian, there is a possibility of some partiality, some injustice at the other end. Sundarajan, if competition is to be eschewed, then this is equally true in spiritual progress as well, correct? Yes, correct. So we need to guard against competing with anyone in our sadhana as well, right? Absolutely. And it's not easy. you know, if you and I get introduced to some guru, then after some time we introduce somebody else after 3 or 4 years. And then we find that that person whom we had brought to the ashram or to the guru is doing much better than us. Some jealousy comes up in us. Hey, I brought him here and now he is closer to the guru, or he seems to be meditating better. A little old habit. But as you rightly said, in spirituality, there is nothing like senior or junior. There is nothing like somebody picked up Bhagavad Geetā first and he has to get enlightened first, etc. So this is easier said than done. Just as in ground reality in life, even a father can be jealous of his son, which should not be. He should be proud, but sometimes a husband could be jealous of his own wife's achievements, which should not be, but in life it happens. So, like you rightly said, in spirituality, there should not be comparison. But this conditioned mind in spirituality too, comes to some conclusions that I am lagging behind, and students whom I thought have gone ahead of me. Oh, and so that is unspiritual. That should not be. Ah, some more Hari Om. Okay, looks like there is no other question. Namaskars, etc. are there. Abhar. Someone has used Devanagari and written a Hindi word. I'm not sure whether Abhar is a Sanskrit word. It's surely drawn from Sanskrit, but whether it's used in that sense, we'll check. Ah, Let me see. Yeah. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.